Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Breakdown. I'm Chino, and I'm here with my boy Christian. What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Not much, dude. It has been a week. It is
Been a
the
few
end of
days.
the week. It's Friday. No, it's Saturday. It's Saturday morning.
Depends on where you are. I'm still.
It's Saturday morning for me. It's Friday night for this man because,
Yes.
you know, he's in California time, and I'm the asshole that has to suffer. So, yeah, I'm just here hyping myself up with a line of Coke. I mean, a lot of Coca-Cola products, and just staying up. We got a lot to talk about, man.
Yes, we do.
We had
the Oscars.
Yeah, last week. A lot of surprises. We're going to talk about the Oscars and see if our feelings have been hurt by some of the choices that were made. We're also going to update real quick. Gene Hackman. Today I came out, news of his passing and what exactly happened. Also, I had a snow day.
Referring back to your line of Coke that you were just talking about.
Yeah, there you go. All the white, all the powder. I'm also sick as hell.
Oh.
I'm on steroids and what are the other ones called? The ones
Antibiotics?
Antibiotics, yes. Amoxicillin and prednisone. Prednisone? Sure. Yeah, it sounds
sure.
right. It might not be. I think that might be something my wife takes. Maybe that's why I'm so sensitive. Anyways.
Flashes.
Yeah. So let's just touch base on all that. And let's start with the Oscars first. I think that's the big news here, man.
Well, I think the first thing we can say is we were both way off with our predictions. I mean, I feel like with the substance, when it came to, they were pretty much snubbed for everything.
Yeah.
They got did they get makeup? No. Yes.
They did, right? Yes.
Yeah, and that, I mean, okay,
Cool.
it felt like kind of a mercy win, but at the same time, they probably had the most elaborate makeup of any production that was nominated. So that was cool, I guess.
But now The Substance is an Oscar-winning picture.
Yes, that's true. That is
that's
true.
pretty damn cool.
Another fun thing that I don't know if you noticed this, but when they were doing Best Actress and our girl Demi did not win, she lost to Mikey from Anora. In that precise moment, Demi became the exact character she played in Substance, losing out to a subjectively more attractive, less experienced female. I just thought that was kind of interesting how art imitated life right there. Or life imitated art.
I would have loved to have that moment, but Hulu turned it off on us. Thanks, Hulu. What the fuck, Hulu? Like literally the last two things, the main events. That's like you just pulled the Netflix, Logan and fucking Mike Tyson on us. The broadcast has ended. Thanks for watching.
Oh my gosh.
I was so pissed off, dude. I was so pissed off. Instead, I had to go online to some random YouTubers, and they were talking about it, and one of them had the broadcast going. I'm like, whatever.
I'll tell you much. You didn't miss much.
Yeah, but still, like you're watching it.
I know. I get it.
That's like, you getting frisky with the lady, and then right before it,
Nothing.
like,
Cut off.
wake up.
No soup for you.
Exactly. It's just bad. No, it's
No
terrible.
payoff.
But yeah, I saw replays of Demi's reaction, and I mean, listen, rightfully so. You can't, let's be real. You want to win, right?
Right. Everyone wants to.
Everyone wants to win. Like it's a hell of a freaking thing to say I'm Oscar winners, yada yada yada. So it's got to be hard. I can only imagine how hard it is to.
Well, especially for her because she's been in this business for so many decades, and this was her one time that she got on that pedestal.
Yeah. We need what's that director that tends to bring people in and then they just get Oscars. He brings in obscure people, not obscure, but he does, I guess. He brings in people that maybe haven't been on screen for a long time and then gets them recognized. Is it Quentin Tarantino I'm thinking of? He does that a little bit, right?
He does that a little bit. Scorsese does that a little bit.
Scorsese does it, yeah. We just need her to get picked up by somebody who, at this point, she's Oscar nominated to be more. I mean, that's a win too.
Oh, 100%.
Not for nothing, but it's I was nominated for an Oscar. I can't even say that. I know a guy
100%.
named Oscar. He was a neighbor. That's the other thing I do want to talk about that really pissed me off. And I was very hesitant to talk about this last time, but I don't care anymore. Emilia Perez.
Ooh, I'm glad you're going there because I have some stuff too.
When Zoe Saldana, she's not saying the ñ. When she won, I was like, okay, all right, let's clap it up. She gets excited. She's talking about the first Dominican to win this award. It's so exciting to be here tonight, mama. The whole thing, she's playing it. The mariachi band's playing in the background. She was ready to pull out the maracas, whatnot. And then we see this crazy, crazy interview post award that she's, I guess, in the back rooms, whatever, where the press is, and
Right.
this person from a Mexican, I guess, website or newspaper, whatever it was, basically said, hey, like, this movie really wasn't, all that. And her response, I mean, holy shit. It couldn't have been more, I'm sorry you feel that way. I don't care. I got this now. It doesn't matter. It just was, it really, really put a bad taste in my mouth. And it just kind of proved to everybody what a lot of people had thought about of this movie and what they were doing. And, that whole reaction that she had was just absolutely insane, dude. Absolutely insane.
Dude, it's interesting because there was actually a lot of talk also after she won that was she even in the right category as supporting actress? Because you break down the math, she has more screen time than her counterpart who was nominated for best actress. So a lot of people are thinking to more ensure that she would win, the studio put her in the supporting actress category. So she was against a much, I guess, easier contenders.
It's so fucked up, dude.
That's what I mean. That's why I
So
keep saying the Oscars are just a machine, and they're so conniving and dirty, and it's a business. It's just a big billboard, essentially. To move things a little bit towards Anora, I learned something that was kind of infuriating as well. And for the record, I liked Anora. Do I think it deserves all the awards it got? No. But, to each their own. If you think they deserve that, great. But what I wanted to point out was Anora's budget. I think it was a $6 million film. I think
it was an independent film, correct?
Yeah, it was an independent film, $6 million budget. We learned this week that Neon spent $18 million on marketing for the Oscars and included Anora-themed thong underwear. They were selling T-shirts. It just goes to show how much money they dump into promoting these things, and oftentimes it's more than the movie even cost.
That's crazy.
It's just crazy.
So they just kind of buy the way in.
Exactly. You buy your way in, and if you're trying to get through to all the voters who don't just vote, but they kind of look at what the ads are saying, that's kind of what you're paying for, just getting eyeballs for your consideration ads. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it looks like happened here.
I have yet to see the movie. I did pre-order it, though. I saw Criterion. I mean, Criterion even freaking already had announced it before it was even nominated, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They had already made the announcement that it was going to be a Criterion release prior to.
Yeah, but I think, and you might know more than I do, but I believe most Neon releases get Criterion because they're kind of not most, but there's a lot that kind of get it this soon versus other studios.
I mean, most of the Neon stuff that I've seen is like really shitty horror movies. So, so I don't know. There's some good ones, don't get me wrong, but there's been some that I've been really excited about, and I'm like, this is not it. This is not what I thought this was going to be. But yeah, anyways, anything else of the Oscars that...
Also, I was going to say Dune 2, they kind of got another Mercy Award. What did they pull away with? They got...
Sound?
They got sound, okay. Visual effects, okay.
I'm surprised they didn't get nominated for score.
I know.
I sometimes listen to that, like, just to, like, calm myself down sometimes. Like, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I totally agree with you. There was just, I feel like a lot of times when those big ones that are in Best Picture category, they'll win like those Best Makeup or Best Visual Effects. It's kind of a mercy Oscar. Like, now you can say you're Oscar winning, but it wasn't in the big category. Yeah.
Do you know where my brain just went to right now? I thought you were just going to share your testimony. Oh, my God. Anyway.
You never know. It might just pop in there. But yeah, I mean... Overall,
so funny.
I will say I really enjoyed Conan O'Brien as the host. He was a lot of fun. If it were not for him, I don't think it would have been that much of a stimulating award show because there was kind of...
Conan O'Brien is like the safest bet that they could have had.
Yes.
Like, he's loved by many, both the celebrities as well as the fans. And his humor is kind of cheesy dad jokes with an occasional like raunchy joke here and there. But his humor is always so self-deprecating that it never goes to that extreme. The only one that I thought was completely left field was the Drake one that he made about, Kendrick, the whole Kendrick Lamar Drake thing. And he was like, oh, I guess at this point it's halftime where Kendrick comes out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that was so random. Like, out of everything you've done, That may have been the most random bit.
The thing that worked in his favor for sure is that he had his talk show for all those years, and people knew what they were expecting. You know, I loved the whole sandworm gag. That really reminded me of the old Conan shows where they had these weird one-off characters do random stuff. So I thought that was perfect.
Yeah. The other thing that I saw a lot of people talk about, the in memoriam, there was a lot of people very upset with people not being included. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because at the end of the in memoriam, there is a link at the bottom of the screen that says to see all of the names, go here. And that's where they have everybody else that was not mentioned in the live segment. But to my understanding, is the segment that airs the actual full in memoriam, or are we, the audience members watching it on TV, is that what we see? But does the audience within the Oscars actually see all the names?
I think what we see is what they see there.
Okay.
I honestly didn't ever notice that link, so that's news to me.
Yeah. Because a lot of people were like, oh, where's
Michelle Trachtenberg?
Michelle Trachtenberg. Who else?
There was
Tony
one of the
Todd.
Yeah, that was a glaring one for me, was Tony Todd. I was like, really? No, Tony Todd?
But I'm like, I mean, he was listed. Michelle was listed as well. So then my other question is, well, why is it that certain people, they get to be on the memoriam? Is it because the family like donates to it or something? Like, there's got to be something there, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Because I feel like this definitely happens every year where one person is left out, at least one, where people are kind of in uproar.
Well, especially when you have two actors pass away on the same week, and then the last one to have passed away is like the main
feature
one.
Yeah.
And the other one isn't even mentioned at all.
Yeah, it's strange. And at the end of the day, it's got to be hard because I'm sure they've left out more than just those. I mean, they have like talent producers in there sometimes, or, agents. And then you're like, really? You're going to remember some agent over Tony Todd? I just don't understand. There's got to be something more to it, like you say. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't speculate, but I did see that link there, and I was, I understand people's frustration and just flat out anger towards them for not having included. I personally think that if you're going to spend the time to make something like that, like maybe just cut out some bullshit segments that you don't need in the show, and just totally. I think people would sit through it, and if they don't want to, they don't have to, but it's there and it's out of respect. You know?
Totally.
I mean, it's not like it's 1,000 names. I forget how many was on the list, but it was a good amount. It was a good amount of people. I don't know. It's the whole thing is I'd like to know why. I just want to know why. Why is it that some do and some only pop up on that list? So, anyways.
Totally. No, I agree. You know what else needed an in memoriam like majorly from this show was what am I going to say? It all just fell out of my head.
Joseph Smith.
No, give me 1 second. It's going to spark my
Brigham Young.
You're throwing me off, dude. Okay. I'm going to pick up right here. So, you know what else needed an in memoriam was Adrian Brody's acceptance speech, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Like, the guy is a talented actor, but if that wasn't the douchiest thing I've ever seen in any award show, first of all, throwing his gum back at his wife. Did you see that?
So, there was a couple of things.
There's so many things.
He did so much in such little time. Like, how do you have so many felonies from getting up off of your seat to getting to the stage? The gum, the fake pretentious, the turnaround to the audience. Like,
yeah. And then the speech, which is the longest in Oscar history, but like when that moment when he's like, cut the music. Yeah. I've done this before. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you like, bro? Calm down.
Take that away from him, man.
Yeah. Where's Will Smith when you need him?
Yeah, for real. When he was giving his speech, it felt like he was just fishing for the perfect soundbite, the perfect line to say that would top every newscast. Like he just kept spitting out BS, and it was like, none of this makes sense, man. What are you doing?
The whole thing was very, oh my God, shut up. What was it that Ricky Gervais said? Thank you, God, and your agent, whatever. Get the fuck out of there. Nobody cares or some shit. I love that. Freaking love that. Yeah, the Oscars were something else. That's the first time I've sat through most of it, Hulu. Not all of it. Fucking assholes. It was good background noise for most of the parts, and then the stuff that I cared about, I tuned in. So
for real, yeah. I love the little James Bond segment. That was cool. Even the performance by those other artists. I didn't know any of the artists. I don't know any of these new artists.
I had a problem with one of them. She was off key, and she was struggling to hit the notes. Like she was reaching very, very deep in her soul. and she couldn't get those notes.
Well, and at the end of the day, none of them will ever be Shirley Bassey ever. But it was nice to see Bond get some love during the award show.
I did see Halle Berry. She kissed Adrian Brody back to Mr.
It was like payback.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Halle, if you're interested, you can surprise me with a kiss. No, but yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got for Oscars. So let's talk about Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's, we got the report as to what happened.
It almost makes the whole thing of it a lot more sad.
Yeah,
because his wife, who was only in her 60s, they determined her death was caused by the hentavirus, which is like only found in mouse droppings. And they also
she
said that before him. She had been dead for maybe a week or two before he died. So like you said, he had really bad Alzheimer's. So the poor guy, who knows what he was doing during that final week. And then the dog death, I don't think they really explained that, but maybe it just starved to death. I don't know.
I would imagine dehydration. Yeah. Starvation for sure.
You know, someone who's not in the right mind and is neglected by their spouse because they're dead, and then the dog crazy. Too. Oh, it's so sad.
It's so crazy. That's very, very unfortunate. You know, you don't ever want anybody to go through anything like that. And who knows, like we said, anything could be going on in his brain. Just be so unaware of the fact that there was a dead body in his house, his wife's body.
Yeah. You know, you are kind of thankful that it wasn't anything nefarious or, you know, there was no ill will or any terrible things happened besides just unfortunate health issues.
Yeah. In happier news, I had the chance to see some new releases this week. I did a double feature at the movies with the wife. We had to choose because we were going to see two movies, but it was between The Monkey, Hard Eyes, and Last Breath. So we could pick two of the three. And
all three very uplifting movies, I'm sure.
So we decided to go with The Monkey as the first feature and then finish off the night with Last Breath. Figured with the Last Breath one, it's going to be more of an emotional impact kind of thing because it's based on a true story. So you approach it a lot more differently than you would a movie like The Monkey. And The Monkey, I think, is the first movie of this year that I've given 5 stars. I'm not going to spoil it, so if you haven't seen it, no worries. There's no spoilers here. If I have to say anything about the film is that if we're coming off of what he did with Long Legs is a movie that, for me personally, I need to revisit because I didn't hate the film. I didn't love it. And I felt that some of this, I guess you can call it unintentional humor in Long Legs, for me was kind of distracting. It was what took me out a lot of times, you know?
So I totally understand what you mean by that. I saw it. It's definitely a different experience. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it, but I left my classic one-line snarky review, and I know how you're a big fan of that. And tell me if you think this is a legit take, because I've talked to people about this, and they think it's a legit take. I called Long Legs the Napoleon Dynamite of psychological horror.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, like, everything about Long Legs was, this is a serious movie, this is a serious movie, this is a serious movie, but then you'd have these moments with Nick Cage where it was, like, not serious. You're allowing this because you kind of like a little bit of this humor, but is this the right movie for that? I just felt like it didn't match the tone to have these little moments in there and to end it the way it did. Hail Satan. I was like, okay, you know, but again, I need to see it. I remember leaving the theater just kind of a bit underwhelmed.
Now, did The Monkey have similar vibes or was it a totally different experience?
Well, the thing with The Monkey was he embraced and just gave into that comedic factor. Mm-hmm. And I think knowing that, you knew that very early on. Like it never once tried to be this serious film, if you will. And I think that, you know, he is a director, like him having that control of like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make people laugh, but I'm also going to give them the shocking moments and all of that. It works. It works very well for him.
Just on paper, based on what you said, that sounds a lot like what Eli Roth does. Is it similar to kind of an Eli Roth thing where...
No, Eli Roth likes to ruin his movies.
I don't disagree with that. I like a few of them, but most of them are not very good.
Cabin Fever is the greatest movie that he's made. He knew what he was doing. He knew that balance, right? He never took it seriously. I mean, he was a character in the movie himself where he's a stoner and he's got a dog named Dr. Mambo.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Mambo.
Did you...
You know...
I know we're going on a huge tangent here, but did you not like Hostel?
I like Hostel.
I like Hostel.
I like Hostel when it takes itself seriously. Let's put in some boobies.
Yeah.
And let's have some weed jokes. And it's like, dude, like Hostel could have been one of the most brutal films ever, because when it kicks off, like when the shit starts, right? It's unapologetic.
Right.
But that whole beginning, I'm like, is this Euro Trip?
It's like
What are we
Euro
doing?
Trip, exactly.
Again, he finds a way to destroy something that could be potentially the greatest thing ever. He did the same exact thing with Hostel 2. Hostel 2 kind of starts a little serious and then is pretty dark. And then at the very end, let's play soccer with her head. What, dude?
No, you're right.
Like,
It's true.
He did it with Green Inferno. I was so excited to watch Green Inferno. This is a man who literally his whole influence is Italian horror, and he talks about cannibal. Like if you've followed Eli Roth from the get-go and you've consumed all of his movies on physical media and you've watched his commentaries, he talks up freaking Italian horror. He talks about cannibal films. I mean, he literally had one of the greatest directors of Italian cinema horror in Hostel 2, the gentleman who's cutting the leg off of the other guy. Like he's a horror, Italian horror director who's done cannibal stuff. Like there's inserts all over the place. So when Eli Roth is set out to make a cannibal movie, what? This is, oh my God, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. No. Just he goes to Chile. He gets these, this crew out there because it's cheaper. You can tell the quality is a lot different than his other movies. And there's a scene where they eat the fucking guy and he's got weed in his system and everybody's got the munchies.
High. Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
The weed jokes are
so,
job.
He had one job. And that's, no, that just pisses me off. Anyways.
All right. Sorry for that tangent, but I was just trying to draw a parallel with Osgood Perkins, the monkey.
Osgood Perkins, he also directed The Black Coat's Daughter. Let me double check. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information here because I own that movie and I really enjoyed it. And that movie, there is no humor in that one.
Yeah, he did. Black Coat's Daughter.
Okay. Yeah, there's no humor in that one. That movie takes itself seriously. And I thought it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. With The Monkey, he embraces this comedy, right? He embraces it. He knows he's good at the violence. He's good at the shock value. He's really good at storytelling. And I think this was a perfect blend of everything that he's good at. He just was able to take all these pieces. It was super entertaining. I laughed a lot. I did not watch any trailers other than that scene that was released just to get an idea of what this movie was going to be like, but I didn't watch actual trailer. So I probably laughed more than other people did because they probably have seen the trailers and they've seen those sound bites and things that you already are expecting. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think what was really fun for anybody that has not seen it yet, and if you are planning to see this, stick around after the trailer or after the movie ends.
Okay.
Because there is a trailer for his next film called Keepers.
Oh, nice.
And when I tell you that this man, if he does what I think he's doing with this movie Keepers, it's a wrap. Because that movie looks terrifying. Like,
is it Keepers or Keeper?
It might be Keeper. Yeah, if it's Keeper, I'm sorry. My bad. Osgood. Lo siento. Now watching this. There was no signs of comedy in that. Like, that looked terrifying. And I'm like, okay, this dude, stick to that. Don't give me this trailer because that's the only trailer I'm seeing for this movie. If there's a fucking musical number at the beginning of this film, and then some dude as a peanut comes out with a little, no. It's just, I feel like when you try to be funny like that, insert those comedic moments in movies, it's like you're really trying, you're really being extra.
Yeah.
It's barbarian level, I'm not a fan of that movie. So anyways.
I'll have to check it out. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I almost went and saw it last night. I just couldn't get away, but.
Yeah. And then Last Breath was fantastic. I felt like Woody Harrelson's character, he's the reason I didn't give it 4 stars. I just felt like I needed more emotion from him. There was just a scene in particular that I needed that emotion. I need tears. There are certain scenes that I need tears. You can't cry and not have tears. Does anyone actually do that? If I cry, I'm crying, right?
Right. 100%, man.
But there's nothing coming out. You got to go to a doctor and get that checked out because you should be leaking,
Where's the heart? Where's the emotion?
Yeah. But it was a really insane story. I didn't know anything about the story itself, the outcome. I went into it completely blind. I really had no idea what was going to happen. And again, I don't want to spoil it, but it's it's insane. It's
Okay.
pretty insane. So
right.
definitely check it out. Would you watch anything good?
Well, I didn't see anything in theaters, but I did see a few movies this week that really stood out to me. I mean, I feel like I had a really good week. You know, some weeks you see some movies and they all don't hit. This week I had a lot of movies that hit. And we'll start with, I watched this little movie on Netflix called Watcher. It's a 2022 film by Chloe Okuno. And it stars Micah Monroe. You might remember her from Longlegs, coincidentally enough. And it's crazy. It's about this couple who moves to, I want to say it's like Romania or something. An American girl marries a Romanian guy and they move to Romania. And so she's kind of a fish out of water. And without spoiling anything, she has this neighbor that like she thinks is watching her. And the whole movie is her paranoia. And it's like, is she seeing things? Is she overreacting? Or is it really happening? Excellent watch. I gave that 4 stars. And coincidentally, there was a lot of subway scenes. And then that made me think of another little movie you mentioned last week by the name of Creep from 2004. That was fun. Yeah. Super short, easy watch.
Yeah.
Franca Potenta from Run Lola Run and The Bourne Identity is in it, and she's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And I mean, without spoiling anything, the best way to describe this movie is The Hills Have Eyes, but in a subway tube. It's great. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. It's a movie that doesn't get talked about because really just a lot of people don't know about it.
Right.
And the fact that a more popular movie called Creep came out years later.
Right.
Definitely check it out if you guys haven't seen it. It's 2004's Creep. It is a European film, no subtitles. So
no subtitles, yeah, and it's on Tubi. It's on Tubi right now, Amazon Prime right now. Yeah, that's where I watched it. So that was great. Another one that I watched that really stood out to me. And have you heard of the Pusher movies from Denmark?
Yeah,
I watched
Nicholas
the first
Winding Refn, right?
Refn, yeah. I watched the first 2. They're great. The first one is spectacular. It's funny because I expected Mads Mikkelsen to be in it a lot, and he's actually not in the first one a lot. It's kind of like a, if you like Tarantino, Guy Ritchie, and the Safdie brothers, it's kind of all of that mixed into one little guerrilla filmmaking style. Not for everyone. It's got some pretty hardcore subject matter. A little too realistic at times, but I dug that. And the second one's strong too, and I'm really anxious to see how the third one wraps up. But the last movie I want to talk about that I saw, that this one's been getting shredded online, and a lot of people don't really disliked it, was Wolfman. I finally got around to seeing that.
Oh, you did?
It did. And you know what? I don't think it deserves the hate it's getting.
I agree.
Everyone was complaining about how the Wolfman looks, and I think it works. I think it's fine. I think the only thing I would maybe do differently is, and it's nothing against her, I don't necessarily think Julia Garner was the right choice for the main actress. She was fine, but no, it was great. It's the cinematography, first of all, that really stood out. I thought it was cinematically gorgeous. Like every shot you could tell was well thought out, and it was just great. So if you have not seen Wolfman and you're basing your judgment on what other people think, trust me, give it a shot because you might like it. I did.
Yeah, I mean, as a parent, I think as a father, that movie does hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Also, as you said, a lot of people may have an issue with the main character. Her name, I don't know her name. You mentioned it before, but I kind of had this internal battle going on because from the beginning, I didn't like her. I didn't like her character. And not for nothing, too, they're not that far apart when it comes to their age in real life, the two actors. They're like maybe 4 years difference. But she looks like she could be his daughter.
That was my thing.
Also, she's not believable as a mother.
No.
But this is my internal battle that's going on in the movie. Maybe that is why he picked her. Because she struggles being a mom in the movie.
Yeah.
So what better way to, have a character that really doesn't feel like a mom, and she is a mom, but she in the movie struggles to be a mom. And even at the end, like, she is not a likable character. She ends up doing the things she does at the end, not because she loves her daughter, but because it's instinctive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the moment kind of thing for her.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what makes it tragic. I think that's why the movie was so much more elevated for me, was that it was just so bleak. And the dad, all he wanted to do was fix things.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I get a chill at my spine thinking about it. I love how like poetic the whole structure of the film is.
Yeah.
It begins with that shot of the dad and son looking out, and like it's so beautiful, and then it ends with, that's not a spoiler, but it ends with the same shot under different circumstances, and it's like they're not thinking that because of what they've just been through, and it just shows how different points of view can be at different times. I don't know. There was so much about it, and I really loved the director. He did Upgrade, which I thought was a fantastic movie.
Fantastic. He's a great writer.
And The Invisible Man was spectacular. And he also did Insidious 3. I haven't seen that one.
I love it.
But great film. So if, again, trust us. If you are having second thoughts about Wolfman, give it a shot because you might like it more than you think.
He's also written, Saw. He's also acted in all of these movies as well with James Wan. They're buddies. That's how they, they came up together. They did the original Saw, the short film Saw, and then obviously we know history with that. But yeah, he's incredible. And when I heard all the bad reviews, I was genuinely sad because I have been a James Wan, Lee Wynell fan since Saw, and they haven't disappointed me until James Wan decided to not work with Lee Wynell anymore and went off the deep end. And Fast and Furious and Conjuring 2. Conjuring 2 was the first time James Wan broke my heart, but that's for another day. We could have a whole night about James Wan.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, great movie, dude. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad some people are coming around to it. And the other thing is people complaining about where's the wolf? Like,
right.
He was there, and there's a beauty behind it. It's not like it's just some random dude who just transforms in it's not American Werewolf in London transformation.
Well, I feel like if
it's
most
metaphorical.
People... Right. Well, also, and if most people read just the opening text of the movie, it said it was an ancient name that when it's translated means wolf man, but it has nothing to do with wolves. They clarify that right at the beginning. Yeah. And it's great.
So I just went back on my diary here on Letterboxd. I saw The Monkey on March 1st. Okay. I just want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I saw 14 movies since March 1st.
Wow. Impressive.
Tonight, this morning, March 8th. Yeah. 14 movies I've watched. So I saw The Monkey. I saw Last Breath. Then after the Oscars, we decided to watch Flow, which won Best Animated film. I enjoyed it very much. I finally got around to seeing Strange Darling, which I had heard a lot about. I enjoyed it. It was, I don't know if it was trying to be try to have this gotcha moment, but it was very predictable, in my opinion. So I didn't have that gotcha moment, but I still enjoyed it. I saw another Italian film called Flowing, which was very interesting. A little slow at times, but interesting. First time watching Teen Wolf 2.
I'm sorry.
Rough. That one was rough.
It's funny. I remember loving that movie as a kid. And I loved the first one, and I remember I loved that as a kid, and I went back and watched it 10 years ago, and I was like, what is this?
It was trash,
it's
dude.
So bad.
So bad. It was so bad. I got to see the short I Am Ready, Warden, which was another Oscar winner. I saw a French film called Survive. That one was actually a lot of fun. It's end of the world type stuff. Basically, the waters, there's a polar shift, and then all the ocean gets dumped onto land, and then this family survives. It's a pretty wild movie. I rewatched Starman just because. I saw Out of Darkness. I also watched The Order and Waterworld, the Ulysses cut. I decided to watch that one because I'd never seen the Ulysses cut, which was
Do you have the Arrow release?
Yes.
I honestly wish most of these boutique labels would put the TV edit on some of these movies because in the 80s and 90s, they shot scenes specifically for TV. And it also gives you an excuse to show my kids a rated R movie that if it's a TV cut,
Well, Waterworld was PG-13, so
right.
You can get away with it. And also, I want to segue into something else that I forgot to mention in the beginning, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about hot takes. Right. This last movie is how I'm going to segue into it because this is, in my opinion, the best out of the three Nolan Batman films. And it's Batman Begins. I fucking love that movie. It's still a 5-star. I still got goosebumps in almost every scene where Batman is doing Batman things. I call them Batmanisms. Okay. That's my term for these moments. I watched it just last night and I was like, fuck, this came out 2005. This shit still holds up so damn well. It's just such a well constructed movie. It's the origin, we've seen it. We know what happens, but this also felt like we didn't see this before. And it just, I don't know, man. It's one of the better Batman movies, with Batman being the main character.
You know, and it's got one of the best scores. And I just love how Nolan's Batman universe is, in my mind, the best Batman universe. I love it so much. It's a great movie.
Batman Begins is my favorite Batman movie, but he's not my favorite Batman.
That's fair enough.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's like me. 1989 Batman is my favorite Batman movie, but he's not my favorite Batman.
Who's your favorite Batman?
Christian Bale.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, yeah.
Ben Affleck.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
He didn't get the due he deserved, but he was a good Batman.
I wish he would have gotten to make his Batman movie. I was so excited.
He has that one scene in Batman versus Superman where he just shines, and then everything else feels kind of wasted a little bit. Well, I mean, I'm talking specifically about the beatdown in the warehouse.
The warehouse scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the warehouse scene is incredible, but I think what's even more incredible is him running when, Superman is fighting.
He's running into the madness.
He's running into the madness, not as the Cape Crusader. He's fucking Bruce Wayne. And that's the distinction. He is Batman, At that moment, it wasn't rich billionaire playboy, none of that. He was... I fucking love that movie so much. Batman is super...
That's a good hot take. I mean... that one's nice because I feel like there will be some people who agree with you. I mean, the masses will be like, man, that's the weakest of the three. But I feel like
Batman Begins being the weakest of the three.
Yeah, I feel like the masses would think that, but I feel like there's a few people who would probably agree with you on that one.
Well, I think the big issue is that when I talk about the Dark Knight, I guess how do I say it in a way that isn't. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. The Dark Knight is not a Batman movie. Like, Batman it features the Batman, but it's a Joker movie. It's a crime thriller that stars the Joker, right. And Batman is secondary. Like, he's in the background, and there's so much other stuff going on. And while I enjoy The Dark Knight, me saying that Batman Begins, in my opinion, is the best out of his three, it doesn't take away anything from The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is still a fantastic movie. It's just doesn't match what Batman Begins was. It doesn't have any of these moments where Batman does the Batman things. When he, takes that little radar for the bats and throws it down the stairwell and he flies down.
Yeah.
The ending with Ra's al Ghul. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
So good. So
goosebumps, bro.
Well, and also, so I love the demon bat when Scarecrow's dude, that look is so horrifying, and I love how they did that. Yes, that is great.
That, dude. That's my favorite Funko Pop. It's so freaking insane. So insane.
It's awesome.
I don't know, I think for me, Batman, is he's my favorite superhero, and he's human. He's not really super, he's just rich. If I was a billionaire, I guess I could be Batman too if I could train with, somewhere with monks and whatnot.
Batman's interesting in movies because they have kind of a franchise, or maybe not even franchise, but a Batman film for kind of everyone. Like, if you like the really DC spandex superpowers Batman, you've got that. If you like this more Batman grounded in reality vis-a-vis the Nolan stuff, you've got that. I really like, and Burton's Batman is very right out of a mystical comic world. I think that's kind of cool that we have all these different versions of Batman now.
And that's the beauty of it too. Just because I think Ben Affleck is the better Batman, doesn't take away anything. If I want to watch the other ones, I can. Yeah. I still love fucking Tim Burton's Batman. I fucking even like Val Kilmer, Yeah, I had fun with that movie. I loved it. George Clooney, not so much. That's okay. We just pretend like he never happened. Everything else, all these other movies, I still love them all. They're just different. They're all different,
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's cool that this character has so many variants to him, right? It's awesome. But yeah, I think Batman Begins is the best. I love Dark Knight. I think it's a great movie, but it's just not a Batman movie for me.
I think that's a great hot take. I like that.
Fun fact before we finish this. My wife's brother actually went to school with Heath Ledger.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's right. She's from down under.
Yeah, she's from Australia, mate.
That's cool.
Perth. Yeah.
Man, not to go on a huge tangent on that, but because that could be a whole episode, but it'd be so interesting
about
to
my
see.
wife?
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Nana, come here.
Are you a Vegemite guy? Just kidding. Anyway, all right. Well, let's move on. We'll move on. It's fine. My hot take, and this is a hill I will die on, my hot take. And I honestly, I don't know if you even know this or if you're going to agree with me, but
Joseph Smith was the prophet of God.
Come on now. I will maintain until the day I die that Alien 3 is one of the best Alien movies.
Okay. Better than Aliens or better than Alien?
I have Alien and Aliens above it.
Okay.
Alien 3, I'm kind of Prometheus, Alien 3. Those are interchangeable for me. And the reason I love it so much, I know all the production problems, David Fincher not necessarily wanting to have this in his filmography. I just love they ripped everything out from the ground, started from scratch, and she's on this planet with men. I just thought it was and no weapons. I just thought it was such an interesting way to kind of bring the franchise back to the original with, monster in the dark hall kind of situation. How do you feel about the movie?
Well, I think you got a little too cocky, okay, after I decided to give my hot, no, I'm just kidding. So, I remember the first time I saw Alien 3, I was very young, and I think I've mentioned this before of how when I watched Alien, I was very, very young, like too young, to the point where I didn't watch Star Wars because of them. So I love the Alien franchise at a very early age. I remember being very scared with Alien 3. Alien 3 scared me more than Alien, okay? There was something about it that felt very dark and grungy and just scarier. It felt scarier to me. When I saw it again as a teenager, I hated the fact that they killed off Newt. Hicks and Newt dead for what? Like why? And it felt like a slap to the audience. Kind of felt like the Last Jedi. Right?
The lightsaber.
In the beginning,
yeah.
The lightsaber thing. Just toss it. Fuck it. You guys were invested. It didn't matter. That's how I felt. But I rewatched it years later. I actually watched all of them. And I decided to watch all of the director's cuts for all of them. And I watched Aliens director's cut. I watched Aliens Extended Edition director's cut. And then I watched the closest that we could get to David Fincher's version of Alien 3. And I love it. I genuinely love that movie. I think it's a fantastic movie. There are moments, unfortunately, that the CGI just doesn't hold up.
Right.
And that's something that you just can't fix. That's okay. But the movie still does a great job at keeping you, focused on the story and the characters, that those little moments where the CGI is clumsy, it doesn't take away from that. It doesn't diminish the value of this movie, if that makes sense.
Totally.
And I thought it was a risky fucking move to kill Ripley at the end, and just end it all the way it did. It was dark, it was bleak, and I love it. Anything bleak, sign me up. I'm there. Like it's comfort food for me, I'm like, oh, the more dark and depressing, I want to hold you and nourish and take care of forever, because I bathe in that shit.
I just know whenever I bring that up with Alien fans, or, in general, I see people's Alien rankings, for some reason, they always have Alien 3 dead last. And it's hard for me to swallow that pill, especially when Alien Resurrection exists. That movie, to me, might be another hot take. I hate that movie so much.
Alien Resurrection is your 90s action movie.
It's totally like
it's a 90s movie.
It's an episode of Firefly set with a xenomorph in the plot, basically. I mean,
so good. It's
so cheesy. It's so like campy. It just doesn't fit the tone. People love that movie. They love it. I don't understand it, but you know what? If they love it, that's great. I can't watch it. I can't.
I love them. I love it. I love them in the order that they're in. I love Alien. I love Alien 2 next. I love Alien 3 next. Mm-hmm. And then Alien Resurrection is the last one, like my least favorite, but I still love the movie. I'm also a big fan of Prometheus. I'm also a big fan of Covenant. I like those movies. I did not enjoy Romulus because it just took me out with the whole CGI really bad deep fake thing that they did, and I couldn't get back into it. I tried.
Have my hardest. Have you watched the home video release yet?
Yes. Yeah. All they did was darken them up. No, they didn't fix it. They darkened it up.
It's better. It's not as bad.
No, it's not as bad, sure. But one thing that I realized is that, I didn't like the main girl. Mm-hmm. What's her name? Rain, right? Rain. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't care for her character, to be honest. I just didn't think that she was anything special. I feel like the other girl, the one that was actually pregnant, she should have been the main character. They should have actually given the role to her because I think just as an actress, she could have brought more range to it. That's just my opinion.
Would you give? I thought David Johnson, who played the synthetic,
Fantastic.
was phenomenal. He was the best part for sure.
And the irony of that is that he's the only one that was the most human. You know?
Exactly.
And I, after rewatching it again, I noticed how I didn't care for any of the characters. You know, like they were all so expendable. It just was like the deaths happened so fast, and by the time you look at your watch and you're like, oh shit, like you guys killed off everybody. We got like 2 people left. Okay. And the girl, the girl that was pregnant, it's not that you feel for her. It's that you feel bad for her because she's literally getting the worst treatment out of all of them.
Right.
And it's like, somebody end it. This poor girl, like just get it.
She's getting it worse than anyone else. Yeah.
But it wasn't because, oh my God, I felt for her character. Like none of the characters. The one guy who I thought was going to be a total badass because he showed it in that cryo room. He's fighting off the freaking face huggers. And, I'm like, yo, the dude's got like smarts. Like he's street smart. He's going to be this hero. No, he just stares at the freaking thing and then it sprays in his face. I'm like, what, bro, what happened to the guy 2 minutes ago that was inside this thing handling business, And then we're not going to talk about the awkward situation where it wasn't said, but it definitely was visually, if you picked up on it, how he and his cousin got together and that baby was his. Like, yeah, nobody talks about this. But when you watch this movie, okay, when you watch this movie, watch it again and watch the exchange that they give each other. The 2 of them stare at each other prior to his death. When he realizes that she's alive and she realizes he's alive, and they hold each other, and the way that they look at each other is not the way I would look at my cousin. My man looked at her and she looked at him like there was more. It felt like there was more in this story that they cut out and that they left in there just as like a little, but 100% that baby was his.
Hillbillies 100%. In space.
Come on. So again, I don't know. I think Alien Romulus is one of the most beautiful looking alien films. Mm-hmm. It brought me back to the OG.
They nailed the aesthetic for sure. Yeah.
100%. I think that just the characters, I think it hurt the movie that the characters were younger, and I love the idea that Fede Alvarez was going for, because he said that, when he watched the extended edition of Aliens, there's a whole sequence,
right.
with
the settlers
colony and the kids. And he's like, what about these kids? I want to tell that story. And I think that's great, but it just felt by the numbers very slasher, if you will. That's really what it came down to. It's not a bad movie. It's just not on the same playing field as the other ones. And then the only thing that really should have just never been in there was, get away from her, you bitch. I think the line, get away from her, would have been perfect, right? But
to say it verbatim is just takes you out of it.
It's not even the fact that, like, I mean, it was for the audience. It was so Deadpool Wolverine, he might as well have looked at the camera and winked at us and been like,
exactly, no, totally,
But if he would have said, get away from her, and that's it, people would be expecting the bitch. He doesn't say it, but it's just enough to make you feel good. It's enough to make you smile, because he would say that to the alien. Get away from her. He's protecting his sister and in his program. But where did the bitch come from? Not once did this man curse. Yeah. He's not dropping bars beforehand. He's not. It was just, anyways.
I mean, there's a lot.
I enjoyed.
There's a lot of nitpicking. I know one thing that bothered me, aside from the things you mentioned, because all of those bothered me, were the acid blood scene was like the Super Mario level underwater, like the thing that bothered me with that, it wasn't the blood anti-gravity thing. It was, where's all the chunks? These bodies like exploded and now it's only blood. And if they are chunks, those things, if they hit the ground, they would melt right. You can nitpick the crap out of that movie, but
yeah, I think over time, when that excitement comes down, I think people are going to be able to kind of go back and be like, oh yeah. But some, like myself, like right from the first viewing, that's how I felt. I thought maybe with a second viewing I would appreciate it more, and it made me really pick out more things. Mm-hmm. I still think it's a noble entry in the Alien franchise, and I'm always excited for an Alien movie. Like,
yeah. It's a
that's
step
why.
it's a step in the right direction to keep
Yeah.
the franchise
Yes.
going, I think. And the only thing I really would like to see happen with this Alien franchise is we need Ridley Scott's third Prometheus movie. We just need him to finish that.
We need Neil Blomkamp's Alien 3.
Yes, we need that.
Like, that's what I was hoping for, but apparently that's never going to happen now.
Whatever happened to Neil Blomkamp, man? That guy was popping banger after banger and then just nothing.
He made one other movie that it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
He made Gran Turismo, dude.
No, before Gran Turismo.
Okay.
I enjoyed Gran Turismo.
No, I did too. No shade against that, but it was so not in his wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
I think
not
he
his-
had to make that.
Yeah,
Keep the
probably.
lights on. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a fantastic director and he wants to do other things. I mean, the guy wanted to do fucking Halo for so long, never got the chance to do it. He wanted to do this Alien 3,
Right.
direct sequel to Aliens, didn't get to do it. So then he went ahead and did Demonic. That's the one that I'm talking about.
Right. I remember. I've seen
Demonic
that one.
was okay. It wasn't his best. It wasn't the worst. And then, like you said, Gran Turismo. And I enjoyed Gran Turismo, but Gran Turismo is, I mean, it's James Wan doing Fast and Furious in that sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's taking a stab at that, which I'm all for, man. Like, I love when these guys can do bigger films like that.
You know what though? And real talk, he did some really breakthrough stuff in that Gran Turismo movie with like the visuals. I was blown away at some of the transitions and visuals. Really cool stuff, man.
I mean, he's been doing that forever. District 9, that movie breaks my heart, man. That movie kills me. That ending. I mean,
And then have you seen his Oats studio shorts that are on
Yeah.
Prime?
Yeah,
Those
I've
are
seen it.
fantastic too, man.
Phenomenal, dude.
Any of those I would see if they were turned into a feature.
Yeah, the guy is great, man. Absolutely great, and just doesn't get enough love.
100%, man. Coming out of hot takes, this is, I think, something that'll be interesting. And not only will it help our audience get to know our tastes in things better, it'll help us each get to know each other's taste better. And I know early on, you and I had a lot of discourse on these action movies, 80s and 90s action movies,
Yeah.
some of our favorite stuff. So this game is called This or That. And I sent you a list. And what we'll do is I give two options and you will guess what you think I would pick.
Okay.
And then vice versa.
Okay.
And since I got to lay it down first here, I'll let you go first. The subject of this whole category is 80s and action. And our first question, we're going to go with the heavy hitters, the big guns right out of the gate. Schwarzenegger or Stallone?
Yeah, come on. So I say who you would pick.
Do you think of those two who I prefer? It's basically
That's
who
easy.
the
That's
preference.
easy. I got this. This is easy.
Okay.
And I say this is easy. I'm going to preface by saying this. I had Christian prior to doing this channel
right.
and doing this together. He was my very first guest on my podcast, Once Upon a Movie. Shameless plug. Where we discussed our love for movies, particularly the 80s.
Yes.
So if my memory serves me correctly, and I do listen when people talk, I would say that Christian would pick Schwarzenegger over Stallone.
That is correct.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I got about 8 inches above Stallone. Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
No, man, honestly, Arnold is my icon from my childhood. Every movie he was in, I worshipped. I watched the crap out of those movies. I watched until the tracking went bad. So, and I love Stallone. I mean, I love Stallone, but if Arnold was in it, I was seeing it. There was no doubt about it. All right. So now I feel like if I remember, maybe you told me you had an affinity for Stallone. I think he's your choice. Cause like, I know Rocky's like gospel to you. So
That's daddy. Stallone was, to get into the psychology of things, he was a father figure to me in my father's absence. So I watched his movies with a very different set of eyes. And as a young kid who was, I guess missing something in his life, he found that solace, that comfort in Stallone movies. And any time that he was on screen, I viewed him as a father figure, somebody who was a protector, kick ass, and it felt close to home. And the irony is that my dad's the one that got me into Stallone. So
that's great.
God.
Oh, I love Sly Man.
Therapy.
Self-made man. That guy's a brilliant dude.
Yeah. I love Schwarzenegger too, man, until I met him.
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
It's just like,
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Kind of the same vibe, a little bit later in time, though. We'll go Jean-Claude Van Damme or Dolph Lundgren.
Okay. I think you'd go with JCVD.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Right. Nothing like that split kick, man.
Hell yeah.
I just love those Brussels from muscles, man. Like the muscles from Brussels. I can't even talk. The breakdown in Double Impact, dude. Oh my gosh, so great. My probably my favorite Van Damme movie is Hard Target, and that's one that John Woo. A lot of people don't really talk about that movie too much, and he has the best mullet in the game in that movie.
100%.
So great, so fantastic. Okay, now with you, this one is going to be trickier because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to, by association with Sly, pick Dolph for you.
No, JC.
No.
All the way, baby.
Good man. Good man.
Also, Hard Target is my favorite movie of his.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fantastic. It's one of the best. So good. When he fucking slaps the snake. Come on, dude. Not for nothing. I mean, that movie is great. It's so ridiculously violent for no reason. John Woo at the top of his game.
Oh, yeah.
Lance Henriksen. Lance Henriksen as a bad guy, any day, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He is just, man, he's such a phenomenal actor. And that movie just needs more love.
There are scenes from that movie that are seared into my brain. And there's three. The snake is one of them, but the other two. First is the fight in the street where he pulls his trench coat back like he's going to draw a gun. And then it's just like a kick to the face.
He's got those tight ass blue jeans and the freaking, Timberland boots. And he's just roundhouse after roundhouse. Yeah.
But the best scene is when he stands on a motorcycle, jumps over the SUV, shoots it from behind, and it blows up. Dude,
that's exactly what would happen.
Action magic.
Yeah. It had all of the John Woo isms, right?
Yeah.
You had the sideways Woo jumps, the
dual
pigeons.
wielding.
Yeah. Like all the things that make John Woo movies, every single one. That was John Woo's first American film.
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
Eat your oatmeal, people. Eat your oatmeal.
Now I got to watch it again.
So good.
Did I tell you that I got the screener for that?
Did you post it? I think I did. Posted something. Yeah, I was jealous, dude. It was like a for your consideration or a screener.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so awesome, man.
I'm like, yep, that's mine.
That's brilliant. That's actually a good segue to talk about. It's almost like I predicted it, but I didn't. Mullet or flat top?
Oh, wow. Jesus.
And think specifically for your action heroes. You can almost, the flat top was pretty iconic, but I'm going to let you go first.
Well, this one's hard because I'm going to have to pick based off of my first answer with you, Schwarzenegger. I'm going to have to pick flat top.
Good guess. And honestly, they are neck and neck, but I mullet all day, baby.
Really? Because of Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Well, that is peak mullet. And then
Schwarzenegger never had a freaking mullet.
No, it's true. When I think world-class 80s mullets, number one is got to be Mel Gibson. Okay. Number two is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay.
Those are easily top two. Three, and you could debate that it is even a mullet to begin with, but Rambo 3, Stallone's hair.
No, that's lesbian on haircut. No.
That when he turns around to that tie fight, dude, that hair is peak cinema.
Mullet it's this hairstyle that can still be pulled off. Like flat top is not it, dude. Flat top is for the guy that doesn't know what to get a haircut of. Like, I'm trying to look normal, but I don't know what to do with my hair.
That's
and
true.
I just think of Arnold's flat top cuts on Commando, freaking, what is it, Kindergarten Cop. I mean, they're so bad. And
bad.
Even the villains had the same exact haircut. It's just...
And then there's those rare occasions when you have a flat top mullet combo. They're out there. All right, moving on. This is like a action genre or subgenre. Beat 'em up badass or a guns blazing.
Okay. This is tricky. This is tricky.
It is tricky.
Your answers, you're just all over the place. It's like you don't know what you want. I'm going to go with guns blazing.
That's accurate, 100%. My dead giveaway is the movie Predator. The guns in that movie are characters.
All about the guns. I mean, there's literally scenes where it just shows the guns.
Yeah, like that big minute gun it's one of the characters. Yeah. It's part of the team.
Even just the weapons on the Predator.
Yeah.
They're a main focus, yeah. Okay.
All right. But don't get me wrong, I love those fighting, martial arts, boxing, guns. It's all about the guns. Chino, I'm going to say you are man on man with the hands. No, guns also.
Yeah. I wasn't a Steven Seagal fan, so none of that, Jean-Claude Van Damme, yeah, for sure. He was mainly the more contact kind of guy, kickboxer, blood sport.
You had Jackie Chan in that era too. He wasn't as mainstream as he was now.
But I didn't mess with Jackie until the 90s, late 90s, Super Cop. One of my favorite films from the 80s, late 80s was Hard Boiled. Hard Boiled is
great. It's
all about guns. That beginning scene is literally, how many guys die in that? Like over 100 dudes in the first 10 minutes? It's absurd. And, I mean, that obviously moved on to The Matrix and, these movies that use both the hand to hand, but it's
Hmm.
all stylized. I love stylized guns blazing stuff. Although that movie with Christian Bale,
Equilibrium.
hated it. I thought it was, I was such a edgy teen, when it came out. I was like, this is a fucking rip off The Matrix.
Right,
No, I'm
right.
not going to love it. I haven't seen it since, but I remember hating it.
Yeah, they apparently
Gun
invented.
kata?
Yeah, they invented a whole martial art for
Shut
that
up.
movie.
Shut up.
I freaking
Gun
love it,
kata.
dude. Moving on. This one, I think I know what your choice will be, but I'm interested to see what you would think. Rocky or Rambo?
Okay. For you, I'm going to say Rocky.
Again, lean into the guns. And I'm not like a big gun dude like in real life, but I remember my uncle would babysit us when we were little. Don't tell your mom. And we'd watch Rambo 1, Rambo 2, and then he'd wrestle us till we cried. He was our alpha male uncle who had to show that he was stronger than us. But Rocky for me is the first one kind of doesn't count only because it's a very inspirational, feel good, uplifting movie, and I love Rocky, fantastic film. But where it gets sensationalized, because the same thing happens with Rambo. Ironically enough, the first movie is more of a I don't have to explain to you, you understand. But when it gets to the campiness and the kind of studio selling out, I prefer the big spectacle of Rambo over Rocky at the end of the day. Okay. For you, I'm going to say Rocky.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, only because I know that's your bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean Rambo. The First Blood is my favorite. And then John Rambo, Rambo 4. I fucking love that movie.
So
I think
good.
that movie is incredible. It went back to the roots of First Blood. It brought in the emotion. There's a whole,
by far the most brutal too.
yeah, but there's a whole like behind the scenes thing about that movie that really makes that film even greater to me. The fact that it was banned in Burma. If you got caught with that movie or trying to distribute it, prison time. Like there is so much about that movie that they showed that was so real. They're like, we can't let you do that, And then obviously Last Blood, I enjoyed it. Wasn't as good as Rambo 4, but I still enjoyed it. And I love how he gave closure to his character.
Yeah.
So
100%.
But Rocky, I mean, I watch all the Rocky films every year. I start from the first one, I make my way through, and if you watch them as a whole, Rocky 5 is fantastic. And people shit on Rocky 5. But Rocky 5 is the most realistic Rocky out of all of them after part 2.
Right.
Like people hated Rocky 5. It was a product of the 90s. It had those 90s moments. But the reality of what Rocky 5 was the fact that we saw our hero fall, and nobody wanted to see that because the man literally defeated Russia.
Yeah.
In part 4.
Right, exactly.
And now our hero is shivering and has the shakes, and his lawyer stole their money and he's poor again. Yeah. Nobody's going to enjoy that, I love it. I think it's one of the better ones.
Do you include Creed in your rewatch?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Not so much Creed 3 because Creed 3 pretty much abandons everything there, but Creed 1 and 2 for sure. They're definitely part of it.
Keeping on that, from Sly we go to Schwarzenegger, Terminator or Conan.
I'm gonna have to go for you because you're a little bit older than me. I'm gonna say Conan.
That's so tough. I would say most of the time Terminator. But
really?
I definitely have an affinity for Conan because it kind of plays off of the Masters of the Universe era, where me and my brothers were really obsessed with that. If you were asking me before I was 12 years old, I might say, let's just say before Terminator 2 came out.
Yeah.
One of the best movies ever made.
That's Terminator though. Are you basing this off of T2 or basing it off of Terminator?
Just the character, the robot, yeah.
Okay. Then I would have said Terminator.
Okay.
I thought this was the first Terminator movie.
I'm sorry. I meant more so because you had Rocky, Rambo, Terminator, Conan. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Terminator. The franchise has its ups and downs, but the Terminator probably easily. Okay. I would say the same for you, Terminator.
Yeah. Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. It's kind of a lopsided matchup. I just couldn't think of anything else.
It's one of like 10 movies that I can literally tell you every single part of dialogue. Yeah. I can give you the fluctuation of the characters, the music swells, the way the cup falls when he gets the freaking thing in his eye.
Oh my gosh.
Like, dude, it's sad.
I've seen it so many times. Yeah.
Same. Same.
Okay, moving on. This is kind of a focusing in on the twin subject. Twins with Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, or Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, this is the movies specifically, so
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with Double Impact.
yeah, me too. It's fun seeing JCVD play twins, and it's funny, he's done it in a few movies. This one, they're just prominently together most of the time.
Oh, I was saying for you, I'm gonna go with Double Impact.
Yeah, and I was agreeing with you. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Twins is all right. I mean, Kindergarten Cop or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
I would say for you, Kindergarten Cop.
It's easy. Same for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. That was kind of a
I don't think
no-brainer.
anybody likes Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
That one just has a funny story behind it. Do you know that story?
Yeah.
All right. Sci-fi. We'll go Demolition Man or Time Cop.
I think for you, it would be Demolition Man.
Accurate. It's one of my favorite Stallone movies. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Same for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time Cop, I watched briefly, and then my mom shut it off because there was sex.
Yeah. There's one scene that just pops out of nowhere. It's like a VR. Yeah. And it's pretty crazy.
And it was, she could let me watch guys get decapitated and all that, but sex?
My parents were the same way, dude.
Like,
same way.
Mom, I just saw them literally. I saw Sylvester Stallone impale a guy in a cave in Cliffhanger talking about fucking wrong answer, motherfucker. But no titties. No, that's where we draw the line.
Oh,
No
gosh.
titties.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
All right. Our final one, sci-fi genre for each of our big dudes. Total Recall or Judge Dredd.
For you, that's easy. That's Total Recall.
That one, that's probably my most watched Arnold movie behind Predator. I've seen that movie. Like you, I could probably name each scene, sequence, sound.
I'm sure there was another reason why you watched it a lot.
Three reasons?
I'd give you 3 reasons.
I think it's the same for you too. Judge Dredd
No.
isn't very good.
No.
No, really?
Love Judge Dredd.
Okay.
Love it.
I am the law.
When he does it, Mr. I am the law. I freaking love that, dude. Rob
And doesn't
Schneider
he have like blonde or blue contacts in the whole time? I think he does.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I fucking love. Wait, hold on. Court's adjourned. Fucking love that, dude. So fucking bad.
It's such
so
a fun,
good.
It's such a fun movie, man.
I Total Recall. I did not watch a lot. Also because sex. I saw it once, and it was like every 2 minutes this was happening, and I never got to fully enjoy it because my eyes kept getting covered. So I knew that I couldn't watch it, so I never watched it as a kid. But Recall is great. I mean, it's a Paul Verhoeven film, and his movies are gangster, dude.
Yeah.
RoboCop. I mean, you think as a kid you'd watch a movie about a robot that's a cop, and then you're fucking traumatized because they blew his limbs off.
And the crazy thing is, they made us toys and video games, dude, for that movie.
Dude. It's like, it's wild. I just saw my man get literally his hand blown apart from a shotgun, him screaming at his nub. It was traumatizing, dude.
Oh my gosh. I remember being so traumatized too by that scene. I would skip it. I would rewatch that movie a lot. I would skip that scene because it was so upsetting.
It was like, it felt like, you know what it felt like? It was like watching a cartel video.
Yeah. And then, hey, look at all these RoboCop toys, kids. With instant action healing hand, you know?
God, dude.
The 80s were a different time, man. A different time.
It's wild.
I love it. All right. Well, I think we did pretty good. You did better than I did. There's not really a winner in this, but that was kind of fun. I think
I like it.
Something we do more in the future if we have other, subjects or whatnot.
I think you're the game master.
Well, I like to mix it up a little bit. Also, these make good individual clips for the short forms too. So
it's true. This is true. Guys, that's it for this week. We went through a lot. We went off into tangents, rants. You heard me bitch a lot this time. I feel like I was really bitchy today. I was just complaining. I'm so negative. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Batman Begins is still the best Nolan trilogy of the trilogy. And that's it. I got nothing else. You got anything to plug?
Go watch Wolfman. Okay. That's the hill I want to die on for this episode. You might be pleasantly surprised. And if not, you're wrong.
There you go. If you guys have anything if there's anything you guys want us to talk about, let us know in the comments. Drop any suggestions, any movies that you think we should check out, any kind of games that we should play.
Yeah.
I think Christian loves games. He's
the game master.
The game master. The game master.
Do you want to play a game?
It's adjourned. That's it, guys. You guys have a wonderful night, evening, whatever, whenever you're watching this. I know I'm going to bed now. I will see you next week.
Later.